Next up on the list of things that I did not think we would ever talk about. Today we're talking about Kiefer Sherwood. Because, like Quinn Hughes on the Vancouver Canucks, every freaking day there is a new conversation and a new piece of info in regards to Chief Keef and the latest in his trade situation. Now, the best part about talking about Sherwood today is the fact that he is still on pace for 33 goals on the year. It's been kind of an ongoing joke over the past few days, but every time we make a video about Kiefer Sherwood, because it's been one a day lately, that's just because there are so many new things coming out about this guy. Every time you make a new video, the goal production pace goes down. He was on pace for 60 goals on the year, and then 50, and then 45, and then 40, and then 30, and then 38, and now he's on pace for 33. I mean, Kiefer Sherwood has not scored a goal in, however many games this is. It's been a while since he's even gotten a point. He's still been hitting and shooting pucks towards the goal, so of course he's been doing what he does, but the pucks have not been going in. So, yeah, he was once on pace for being the top goal scorer in the NHL. Man, that's few and far between now, isn't it? Either way, today we're talking about Kiefer Sherwood and his hometown team. He was born in Columbus, Ohio, and, surprise, surprise, the Columbus Blue Jackets are a team that does exist. This is where we head into the latest on Kiefer Sherwood trade talks in regards to Columbus, because of what Cam Robinson said yesterday on Schaefer and Price. Now, I'm pretty sure y'all are familiar with Cam Robinson. He is one of the top dogs at Elite Prospects. He's pretty good at his job. Pretty sure most of y'all are familiar with him, and that's why he was on Schaefer and Price to talk shop. He said here he hears Columbus is in there too, in regards to the Quinn Hughes conversation. Oh boy. Of course. We're going to take a little bit of a diversion from Kiefer Sherwood over to Quinn Hughes because, yeah, Columbus needs more amazing American left-handed defensemen. Werenski and Hughes would be such a dominant duo. They don't even play on the same pairing, but they'd be so good together. Either way, let's go back over. Also, I heard the Canucks have tried to swing Kiefer Sherwood in a trade for Kent Johnson. He doesn't think Columbus is giving up on Johnson, and it would take a lot more than just Sherwood to get that guy. Good golly gee, of course it would. My goodness. Kent Johnson? A Vancouver Canucks trade target for Kiefer Sherwood of all people? Might I remind you, Kent Johnson is a guy that I think the majority of NHL fans, and especially Vancouver and Columbus fans, see extraordinary potential within. He's 23 years old from Port Moody, BC, so he's a local guy, 6 feet, 170 pounds, left-handed player, and he was drafted 5th overall by the Blue Jackets in 2021. Back in his draft-eligible campaign, he was a monster with the Michigan Wolverines, scoring 27 points in 26 games. Admittedly, the production was not really the best in the world, but hey, he was a rookie, 18-year-old guy, freshman in college after coming off of a double point-per-game season with the Trail Smoke Eaters in the BCHL. It was around this time frame where Kent Johnson was just 16, 17 years old, where he really put himself on the map with the way he plays the game. This guy plays the game like he's a gosh darn freaking EA NHL video game character. Just take a look at the scouting report here. Kent Johnson's creative output is the byproduct of carefully honed techniques and a gifted mind. He handles the puck with his top hand free from his body, pushed forward with precision, quickness, and agility. When he's feeling it, the game looks effortless. Johnson anticipates player movements so exceptionally well, whether they're teammates or opponents, and lets that mental map of the ice dictate his plan of attack. This guy was an absolute dangler with some of the best hands in the draft in 2021. And essentially what you were thinking about when you watched Kent Johnson was a more skilled version of a Trevor Zegras. And I think saying that to somebody who has watched hockey since Zegras has been playing, that's kind of ridiculous to hear. Oh my goodness, this guy's even more dangly and fancy than Z is. Yeah, that's kind of the idea that we had about Kent Johnson when he was draft eligible, and it's why he went 5th overall to Columbus. Give it a few years, and inevitably, the guy gets 57 points in 68 games last year. 24 goals and 33 assists. That's a legit NHL stud, all at 22 years old last season. This year, things have soured for Kent Johnson, only 6 points in 29 games. He is on pace for 16 over an 81-game campaign. And you can debate whether or not it's a byproduct of the Blue Jackets and their systems or deployment or whatever. Kent Johnson's getting about, let's say, 11, 12, 13 minutes a night these days. Last season in 24-25, he was given a tad more than that. He was in the 15, 16, 17 range with even some 20 and 18-minute games sprinkled in there. So Kent Johnson is not really in the best of spots now compared to what he was at last year. But the idea of Vancouver even saying, yeah, no, we'll give you Sherwood. Just give us Kent Johnson. Like, obviously that's going to be rejected. Obviously that's not going to be where Columbus is at. They would not accept that kind of a move. Kiefer Sherwood, his contract is expiring at the end of the year, and he's 30. This is not the profile of a guy that Columbus would trade Kent freaking Johnson for, even though Johnson is struggling. But that is where negotiations start. Right? If the Vancouver Canucks are able to swing a deal for Kent Johnson, whom is labeled as a guy that maybe Columbus doesn't even really want to give up, but if it's like Sherwood and a second or something, Sherwood, a second, and a C-plus level prospect for Kent Johnson, I would be so on board with that. Sure, it would take a lot to equate the value of a young NHL stud who just had a really strong season last year, but if Vancouver was really, really willing to dive into these 20 mid-ish range guys, then yeah, Kent Johnson's right there. He's 23. He'll be 24 once next season begins. You add on some of the other younger guys that Vancouver has, and you kind of have a formula here to build a team towards the future. Sure, Kent Johnson isn't super young, but I think he's young enough, and he has shown off well enough that he would be more of a worthwhile pick than some of the other guys that Vancouver has tried to acquire and hone their talents out of. The Vitaly Kravtsovs, the Sprongs, the Bronstroms, the Studnikas, like these guys that they take because they're like, you're not working out with your team? Well, here, come to Vancouver and we'll bring that skill out of you. Kent Johnson's a little different because he actually has worked out well. He was on a really strong pace last year. If we just do the math, 57 divvy 68 times 82, the guy was on pace for a 69-point year. At 22 years old, that's really, really nice. So with all this in mind, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about Vancouver stepping in there, trying to string a Sherwood for Johnson trade? Any sort of a trade. Not necessarily 1-for-1. That's really not how it would have gone down. But if Kent Johnson can be brought back home to Vancouver, what are your thoughts about that? From Port Moody to Columbus, all the way back over to Van City. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Kent Johnson potentially being a Canucks target. I hope you enjoyed this Swedish Roll 9, and bye.